Hey, top- hey, everybody, welcome back to the Spin Right. This is Mars here, and I'm here with my boys PD and Cal. Say what's up, gents.
What's going on?
Yo, ready to rock.
Hey, today, leading into the whole Marvel Zombies review, we're talking about some of the top-rated Marvel shows over the last couple of years. What Marvel Disney? What is it? Marvel Disney Plus, and what we think about it. So there's this huge list from the PD's is showing us from what is it? Forbes.
Forbes, of all
Forbes, yeah.
places, Forbes.
Yeah, they have a decent entertainment group, but they're telling us, based on the ratings, these are high. Some of these shows are. So the top rated show, and again, I think we have to take some of this with a grain of salt, is Ms. Marvel. Don't get me wrong, I think it was an enjoyable film, but is it actually better than some of the others listed below? And look, I made a mistake. So it's Disney Plus, also regular
The Netflix ones.
Netflix. So again,
And the regular TV. Yeah, regular TV.
regular TV. So we think there have been some stinkers up here. I would say Inhumans is pretty low. If you go down, I don't even know where that list. But they're saying now the Marvel Zombies is considered one of the worst shows. So hey, I'm passing this on to PD. What's your take on this? I guess you've reviewed some of the Marvel Zombies, and do you think this is really something that's the case?
I think, in my opinion, this is, I guess, the critical response, definitely
Mhm.
not the viewer response. So, I mean, we can differ with what the critics say. I think the premise of Marvel Zombies is weak because I don't like the idea that they just utilize their powers like they're normal and they're just zombies. So it's just kind of like, it's like more kind of like a mind control thing, but they're making them look like zombies. So I don't like them having their full facilities to do stuff and utilize those. The whole point of being the zombie is that you're saying you still have your reflexes and know your stuff. Most of the time, you just want to eat, obviously eat someone's brains or skin or all that stuff. So I never liked the idea of Marvel Zombies, even though it predates The Walking Dead. And who's that guy? Robert Kirkman did also work on Marvel Zombies. I don't connect it to that thing. I just think it was taking a spoof. Everything in that period, anything that was a what if or anything that was a spoof, became a comic series. So Marvel Zombies became something. Um, Cyclops and Havoc having a third, more powerful brother. All the what ifs that turned into like Winter Soldiers, a what if thing. So everything that was a bit or idea became something else in the Marvel universe, and the idea that the Marvel Zombies has made it all the way to actual animation is just sad in my opinion. But the fact that it scored low, I'm happy that it did. But in looking at the scores of what the critical response of different things was, obviously we can differ on how that stuff is. They'll go through it, and because obviously Miss Marvel was, I guess it was a critical success. It wasn't a viewership success, but it's
Right.
a character that they wanted to build up as much as they can. Obviously, Agents of Shield has been out for 6 to 7 seasons, so it should be where it's at. I mean, there was a ton of seasons. WandaVision was the first of the Disney TV, and it was different than most television. So obviously, it was giving something different, and the critics enjoyed it. Daredevil was just a great show on Netflix.
Netflix.
So
Yeah.
you know that Hawkeye was okay. I don't know if it's 92, but obviously they bought the scores, and we have was it
Whoa. Let's rewind. What do you mean bought the scores?
they have a talent that they want to produce, and she's making her way through how she's going to be big. She was in what's the name? They needed this thing to be a success, and they took Jeremy Renner's salary down for the next one. Come on, man! You know the fix is in.
Oh my gosh. I'm not even going to touch that with a pole.
Eyes will kind of we haven't watched, so
Let me. So let's let Cal jump in here a little bit
yeah.
and give us a more balanced approach, fair and balanced. Cal, can you provide some help here?
Yeah, sure. Daredevil was great. Everything else was trash.
You asked for it.
Well, yeah, I
You asked
sure as
for it.
heck is. I sure as hell asked for it. I
You
can't.
asked for it.
I think this list is pretty interesting in that, the focus is on the critic scores. And I think there is something to say that, sometimes there are shows that come out that are pretty well reviewed by the critics, and you're like, wow, that's a pretty good show. But then there are others that are
Did
pretty
you,
well
did you
reviewed.
think that Miss Marvel? Did you think that Miss Marvel was a good show?
I enjoyed it, so I'm not even going to say I
You
enjoyed
you
it.
oh wait, a minute. You thought that Ms. Marvel was a good show. That's what
I
you're
thought
saying.
I thought it was funny. The character who was the character, Mrs. Marvel, is it 95% is the
Hmm.
most is the best? No, I wouldn't say that. I think it would have been fair in the 80 range. I think it was pretty good, but it wasn't the best.
What about
You know,
Agatha all along?
Agatha all along should be at the bottom as far as I'm concerned. So, not
She-Hulk.
inclusive. She-Hulk. Unfortunately, I like that actress so much, but that show has to be even further
Je-
down.
Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones was intriguing,
First season
especially
okay.
yeah.
Second terrible.
The first season with the Purple Man, I think it is, was pretty good. Um
Loki.
Loki, first
Wow.
season was good.
Don't even try. No, it was not.
The first season was interesting. The fact that Loki is trying to redeem himself at the very end, and this is the Loki that
That's your
was
biggest
it
problem there. That ain't Loki.
Secret Invasion.
shouldn't even be on the list. It doesn't
Hey,
deserve to be there. That is the worst, to me, the worst possible show. I had problems with Iron Fist.
Iron
That
Fist
the
is,
man
I
does.
don't know, Iron Fist, the way that thing, way Danny Rand gave it up, like they took a story that was one of the better stories where they turned Colleen Wing against them, and he doesn't use the Iron Fist. He was his chi. He connects with her as chi to cure her. She's not doesn't like the fact that she's privy to everything that he's connected to, but she didn't have the Iron Fist. So they took that story and say, hey, what instead of doing that, let's just pass the Iron Fist over to her, and he'll become, you know, Mr. Miyagi. And it's like, nah. So 2 seasons, 2 zeros, 2 bagels.
Well, he's trying to come back. They're coming back next year, I think, with
yeah, they screwed over.
Daredevil.
They screwed over Danny Rand. They really did.
Yeah.
They had that because they had that nonsense, online petition, which is pretty much just people moaning about how Iron Fist needed to be Asian. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? That's Shang-Chi. Danny Rand was always white, always.
Yeah.
No,
And
you
they
got to
don't.
stop stealing this, that, and the other, blah, blah. And then that's how they ended the show. They were like, oh man, the pressure's too big. You know what? Let's give it to Colleen Wing. She's Asian and a chick. Win-win,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, whatever.
Interesting. But I think the thing that hurt Iron Fist at the beginning is that his kung fu was not that strong at the beginning, and he acknowledged it that they didn't give him enough training. I think if he'd come out as
Enough or any.
You think David Carradine had some was John Carradine had enough training
but he sold it at
you
least,
know
back then he
that's the
sold
thing.
it back
Selling it.
David
then.
Ca- David
Selling it.
Carradine, David Carradine's character was literally picking up his foot, sticking it out, and this guy go flying 50 feet. So
He
I
sold it
wouldn't call
though.
it.
He
I
sold
wouldn't
it.
call. He didn't have to sell it the 50 feet, and the guy flying, waving his arms like, oh, that's the person selling it. Nobody didn't believe that.
I'm just saying, if you can make it work and people watch it,
Yes.
people will watch it. Obviously, it would have been a way better show with Bruce in
Look,
it.
they tried to do that. I remember the first episode where they tried to do stuff like that to make him seem like he was more, uh, you know, like preternatural, if you will, where they had him literally leap and he was scaling up a building.
Right.
And then it was like they didn't want to do that. It was like, no, we want to keep away from that. You know, the he didn't have training. The choreography wasn't good. So what's the best thing that you could use to offset that? Oh, well, he has the Iron Fist. That means we need to really come up with some cool scenes, and then we can just focus on those particular things. Didn't do that. Even with the part where he's supposed to fight the dragon, what do we get for a dragon? We got two glowing things in the dark. That was it. We didn't even get an origin for him. It's bad.
Yeah, that is bad. But
I mean,
look,
and I gave it a B. I gave it a B, saying because I knew all the backstory, so I was like, okay, this is the. I want to be fair. I know everything else going on, but they really. I mean, Danny Rand's one of my favorite characters. They just totally savaged him for no reason.
he didn't have the confidence to be the to me the master of kung fu, not the master of kung fu, but to have that the Iron Fist. It's like this dude took on a frigging dragon, man. He should have been badass. I never felt any time that he was really really badass. He was just like, yeah, come on, I'll take you guys on.
Oh, that they
I'll,
didn't have
I'll
a
work it out. I'll work it out somehow.
what?
Well, him
the-
selling off all the company was just made no. I'm back. I'm just gonna keep selling the company. Why? Why do you need to keep giving away stuff?
because he's white and he doesn't deserve it.
Uh,
Get out there and fight. The thing is, look at the comic books. They have some basic Asian gangs out there that are attacking the company for whatever reason, and you get more fights. Another thing is,
Yeah,
like, I think what's the name, Byrne and Claremont, was it Claremont and Byrne at the beginning, and that the last issue they do of Iron Fist is so like dramatic. Where Iron Fist is like, oh, this Wolverine guy is tough. I need to take him out. Like, and the next thing you know, he puts his fist aside and is like, oh no, the Iron Fist isn't working. And then he has to, just use his skills and tosses Wolverine out the window. And then when Colossus comes and he was like, God's, and then next thing you know, the Iron Fist is back. It's like it could have been so much fun. The third person narration, like you are, like all that stuff they could have thrown in there, and just to take the good Chuck Norris movies and don't think about the mustache. Just think, hey, look, this what's it? Good guys wear black. That's the guy. Like that's what you can see in some of the shots Byrne got. It's like the black outfit, the hair before he had the mustache. Don't do the chest hair. You don't have to do the chest hair, but do all that stuff. Like the action of him, was it you can't. I mean, obviously the choreography sucked, but Chuck Norris kicking into the car. Like that, those movies were amazing. The Octagon, that's the mustache stage, so maybe stay away from that. But
no, no, they're good, and he could, and of course he's a master of the art form, and so he sold it. You felt 100% confident. I didn't feel that with Danny Rand, but of course the actor now is saying that put him back in. He has this kung fu down. He's ready to kill it and stuff like that. And he's been pushing the character for a long time. Even though the show's been off, he's like, there's always a possibility. And I give him credit. He stuck to it. So hopefully
yeah.
when he
Why not? You come over there, you could do some good stuff. I mean, what was this dude's name for Eternals? I remember this guy went and got in superhero shape for Eternals, and I never understood why because he was going to be in a full costume. So
handsome,
nobody,
oh
so
who?
it looked
nobody
good.
was going. Yeah, so nobody was going to see it. It was great for your Instagram, but nobody was going to see it in the actual movie. But in terms of
Oh,
Finn Jones, I'm like, dude, if they're willing to bring stuff back and you can hang around, and then especially for me, I'll be like, no, I didn't get a fair shot at this. I'm like Brandon Routh. I didn't get my sequel. Put me back in there. I got what is it? I got the moves. Okay, I got the glow. I'm ready.
well, I
I
think
mean,
one of the things is, as an actor, when
Colleen Wing with the Iron Fist. Get the fuck out of here.
well, when the people make a mistake on your idea, usually the actors should be able to come in and be like, all right, like we got to get some action back into this stuff. And the Marvel people are kind of like, and at the same time, we taken projects like who's it? Keanu Reeves is not a martial artist, right? But the whole thing of movie magic is to make you into one. And I don't care how much training that you get, you're not gonna actually be it. The thing is, this is what you gotta put your money into. It's like, yeah, Chuck Norris definitely can do stuff and do some stunts and this, that, and the other, but then the movie magic. That part of the thing that we can't forget, that they allowed us to forget and say, oh, we didn't have enough time and money for training, or effects, or stuntman. Like look,
Yeah, yeah. It seems like they didn't.
True Lies, you can see the stuntman, and it's one of the biggest Travolta. Sorry,
Well,
I said Travolta. Schwarzenegger's just
I don't know.
Schwarzenegger's biggest movie.
Keanu Reeves in The Matrix for me is like I don't know. That might be more of an like because they did a lot of training and you can see the training. They did a lot of training. So that would be like, okay, you have the training, you have the movie magic, and you got all that stuff working for him. So that's how, you got that, and it's at the apex. Okay, that's peak right there. And then you look at something like Iron Fist, where we're not giving you any training. We're not going to do the movie magic. We're not going to do any of the other type of stuff. Okay, we're just gonna see if we can just roll through this, and hopefully you get season two, and you can come back and do some stuff.
All right, you don't want that? Let's go Charlie's Angels. right?
Which one?
The first one.
The
The
good one.
whole action
Okay.
and wire work where they're kicking people, doing all the moves and all that stuff.
Right.
You gotta learn some stuff, but it's like there's also the part of the movie magic where you got Drew Barrymore flipping and tossing
Oh,
people.
you talking about the one with, oh, that one. I thought you were talking about the original with the with Farrah Fawcett and stuff.
I mean, those ones as for me, those ones were serious dramas with some action and some and some skin too. But those
And
things
so,
were
yeah, there
serious.
we go. There we go. That was a movie magic right there. That's the reason why the whole thing worked.
But I think I think in some of the things where I think even when I was a kid, I've always enjoyed the British Avengers. The action it doesn't hold up as good as it did when I was a kid, but there's some scenes where I was shocked and it's like, good lord, never people able to toss guys around like this. But I think at the same time having some movie magic. But then looking at the score, Punisher's down way too low. Maybe you can complain about the second season, but the second season is still action packed. Moon Knight, toss that in the trash. Put that thing in the dirt. That's in the dirt. Ironheart, I ain't finished it yet. And I'm not, I
Yeah.
don't know if I ever will. No chance of that. They bought some of these, about that, they bought some of these scores.
Hmm.
I'm not going to
I
say
guess, I
that.
guess I guess for me to put a pin in, my thoughts with the whole movie magic and the fighting would be Batman 66 because
Wouldn't
Burt Ward is a black belt. He's a black belt in karate, and I'm pretty certain Adam West was like, I'm not taking any training in this comic book, at the end of the day. But I remember watching it as a kid, and I mean, I never stopped. I mean, I looked at all the stuff they were doing. They would literally have like Robin like swinging on a light or something to go hit something, and the whole thing was sold by what? Those big explosive comic book uh, sound effects. Bam, boom. That was it. That was it at the end of the day, and it worked. Worked for three straight. It worked for 3 straight seasons. So I don't know. I don't know. I get you can sell it without the you can sell it without the training. You can definitely do that, but then I guess you got to do something.
Well,
You know, you,
I'm not
you got
throwing
to
out
do
all
you,
training. I'm not
you
throwing
got
out
to do
all
something
training.
with the magic has to be there. That if you're not going to do one way, then you got to it's got to go the other. When Batman hits you, or when Batman throws a double punch and he knocks out 3 people at one time, they've got to sell it. The magic's got to be there. Didn't happen it just didn't happen with Iron Fist, unfortunately. And sometimes it doesn't happen with movies or films where you do get that type of stuff. It's just never there. But or they oversell it. Where do you see Ballerina?
yes.
Hmm.
I think there's she's fighting some dude. Dude's like, he's easily 6 feet. And he takes her, he slams her down on this hardwood table. Slams her down on the table once, slams her down on the table, and she just holding on. She looks fresh, like she just had a great night's sleep. And I was just like, I just totally took me out of the movie because you want me to believe that she's tough, but that's not the way that you would show me that she's tough. Persevering through it, but you really want me to believe that this guy can't like he can't just slam this chick off of him, and he's supposed to be a trained assassin as well. So, in those type of things, I think they oversell it. Look how tough she is, but it's like, no, this dude is also, an assassin fighter. But hey, that went on much longer than I expected.
Yeah, I don't think I have a problem with that, but I think that overall the list is pretty intriguing, and I think it really breaks down to who you really like. Critics can give you the best scores possible, but in the end, it's what you like. So, Agents of Shield rates higher for me than probably a lot of people, especially because they have a lot of different story arcs and the introduction of so many characters in the MCU. I mean, Eyes of Wakanda, I'm watching doesn't seem like a bad thing at all. It seems pretty interesting, and I have to
I
check out.
watched.
I have to
I only saw
watch.
one episode of Agents of Shield.
But look at this. This is the other bigger problem, right? This is just out here to sell Disney Plus, right? So what's the fact that we have Eyes of Wakanda and Miss Marvel, who they're still trying to sell, which they didn't need that throw tosser in the Marvels movie, tried to do that so they
I
can.
like the Marvels movie, so we
I'm saying
disagree.
it's okay, not enough to do the whole another Kree, like another Kree skull type of thing where we didn't highlight it's a big battle between the Kree and Skull type of things. That's the thing where we had the villain, the Skrulls being the villains too. and the earth in the balance. So it's
I'm with you. I'm with
they
you on that.
throw out a bunch of
They
stuff to do
they
that. But
threw
I'm
out a
saying
bunch of
you're
stuff.
selling this character, and it didn't. We didn't. I guess it worked for you. Yeah, you got it. You saying this character worked, and them selling her in these other things and
I'm
keeping.
saying I'm taking it out of the comic books and doing what I see here as the film in and of itself. Now, if you're talking about you want to be strictly for the comics, then of course there's issues, right? There's huge issues for many of these shows, not just them, because they didn't follow stuff. But I think it was it entertaining? Was the character fun? Yes. And I'm okay. Was it a refreshing character? Yes. I get it. I don't have a problem with that. I know like some of the people like Agents of Carter. That was a popular card for
Not
many
Agents
people.
of Carter,
Um,
Agent Carter.
Agents of Carter. Agent Carter, sorry, yes. You know. I mean, like I said, I like Falcon and Winter Soldier. I liked the Defenders, no. I liked Hawkeye. I liked the first season of Loki. Second season wasn't bad, but definitely the first season way better. Luke Cage, Daredevil Born Again. I watched all seasons of Daredevil I liked. Some were stronger than others. Moon Knight was took a little bit more time to get into. There were aspects of it
And
that
you
I
got
liked.
into it?
No, not really. But there are
See,
aspects of it that
hard.
I liked that I liked. The what if, I like the what if. You know what I'm trying to say? Some people hated that stuff. Ironheart, I watched Ironheart. It's different than I expected. It wasn't as bad. People were saying it was horrible. It wasn't as bad. I just
It
said
wasn't
Echo.
horrible, but it was bad.
Echo was the
Bad.
problem. With Echo was like it
Too
was so
serious.
no, it was so removed from the comic book character. Completely is not the Echo character that I expect. I initially thought it was okay, but I went back to the comics. Thank you for that. What's his name again? It's not you, the other dude. Cal. Thank you, Cal.
Good
I read through
Lord,
some of the
both of
stories,
us?
and I said I remember you. I said I couldn't see Cal.
You still saying you?
So are you not you, or are you?
Look
Are
in
you
the corner of the thing. Put the pass by the screen, and you can see the names.
Yeah, I'm
for
gonna
what?
change my name to the other dude.
Uh, this
So
other
yeah, I
dude.
read the I read the Echo story where she was the with the Ronin character. I'm like, wow, this is bad. This I mean good, and I'm like, but what about why couldn't they? Not necessarily. They probably didn't want to introduce that because they had that as
No,
Hawkeye,
but not the Avengers. Good, no,
but
please.
I'm saying like it's like you guys have pointed this out so many times. We've talked about it so many times. You have great stories already written, and these guys, and let's call it what it is. They don't watch, they don't read the comics. They don't care about the characters. This is like they just slot it in, and it's like it doesn't make sense. And let's say you want to get a more female audience, and I think if you look at the shows, you have a skew a lot to a lot of female characters that some of them never existed before, some of them have. And that's okay. You want to bring more characters in, but there's stories out there that you could have used and even characters, but you've decided to say, I'm going to do my own. And the only thing I can think of is twofold. They don't care, or they want to make money and they don't want to use old IP. Those are the only two things I can think of, right? I mean, this goes back
They're
even
gonna
to
they
Iron
still
Fist.
have people going out there complaining that Marvel, someone, the people in there, those are the top people, gonna say, "Oh, this has been woke something or another," and they're gonna keep producing the same thing while they're complaining about it. Like, look, they're just selling what they have here, right? It's like everything is the average is high in what they show you. The average of it going low, only thing that brings it really down far, Secret Invasion, is Iron Fist. So they're saying, hey, look at our product. You go to Disney Plus and all this stuff, well over 10, was it like almost 15 to almost 20 things are in the 80, over the 80 percentile. So it's like come on, like this is just trying to say go watch the show. For someone paid Forbes, say go watch these shows. And we're saying, look, the order is kind of off, but it's just like, look, all these great shows, and we want to do more with Miss Marvel, so check her out, because we're going to get these views up. So it's
I'm
just
not as cynical as you, P. I'm sorry. You keep saying that. I'm not as cynical as you.
look at
I
the
think that
scores. The scores are too high.
no, the reason the scores is because we're talking about if you look at these are all Rotten Tomato scores, and these are from the critics, not from the people. And so you have critics who are jaded and they've seen the same thing again 10 times, and so they want something different, and that's why those things are there a lot of times. I find critic scores. That's why you have a divergence between the critic scores and what people watch. Ms. Marvel has a low regular people score. Many of these have low regular people
But
score.
the critics said it said so. Go back and watch.
Yeah, so I mean, you take a look and see, but they don't come. Many of them don't come from a comic book background. Say they don't think Ms. Marvel, and that's maybe why some of these tank. They made changes so drastically for some of these characters. Um, so look, I guess Cal, is there anything you want to interject before we close out this topic?
Daredevil was great. Everything else sucked.
Okay, PD, anything else before we close out this topic?
Um,
Final words.
at the same time, didn't what day did they ban Jimmy Kimmel? Was
Oh
that
yeah, Sam is. Oh yeah, Petey's right. This is just for the money. They just like, hey, go back and watch these shows.
Okay. If you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or join the membership. Spinner Rack,
Wow.
we're
we
out.
are out?